Yo, what's up everybody? So I wanted to do a little unboxing. I had a video out there, said we're going to be doing a huge unboxing, and I wanted to do it for the holiday season in case people need recommendations or reviews on cubes. Happy holidays, by the way. But yeah, so every single one of these cubes, or pretty much every one of them, is off the best cubes of 2023 list that the Cubicle did on YouTube. I pretty much, not going off their recommendations, but just through happenstance kind of figured out that all the cubes that I had ordered or wanted to get just were on that list, so that was a good little bit of fortune. Let's start off by taking a look at some of the other things too that I got through the Cubicle just to make my cubing space a little better. I'm gonna open this right now. Oh, also, I got this bad boy. Sorry, my camera is terrible, but I've seen this on there forever, and it's one of those things that I just wanted because I want to nerd out on it. Let me get this cubing mat open while you guys get to be entranced by the spinning doodad. And I was watching on Soup Timmy's channel, and he had some problems. He thought maybe because it was the magnets or whatever, but I've put like 3 or 4 different cubes in this thing, and I've kind of pushed it pretty hard, and I have not had a single problem with it. I think you just want to make sure when you get it to put your weights on straight, because this is just a plastic mechanism, this blue, and so you can easily cross that thread or have your weight management misbalanced. So just make sure you put them on very straight, because I just wonder if his got misthreaded and the weight wasn't evenly balanced, and so it wouldn't keep it on level. But anyways, there goes the packaging for this mat. Ooh, I actually love it. It's thicker than all the other mats I've gotten, which I like because cubes are not as durable as they should be for the price they are. But yeah, then here's all the cubes we're taking a look at today. 2 versions of the RS3M V5, the standard BallCore UV. We got the Gan 251M Leap UV. We got it was a free gift from the Cubicle, the Chi Speed Cube, the carbon fiber 2x2. Then we got the Dayan Megaminx Pro, the Gan Skewb Enhanced, and the Weilong Pyraminx from Moyu. So all those puzzles I opened strictly because the Pyraminx I have not, but the Skewb and the Megaminx I was not familiar with. So, but when I wanted to do this video, I wanted to be able to tell you guys how it works and how you can adjust it and whatnot. Then I was lucky enough to get the Gan 12 UI, and I also got the Gan PowerP Pod to go with it. This cube, that's again I've opened. It was a little bit smashed from USPS, so I wanted to make sure everything was in working order before I displayed it, so I had good reason for opening everything. All right, so now the RS3M V5, standard first. I do not love opening these boxes, but whatever. So you can see I already had a fun time opening this box, but it's just the same accessories box that every Moyu cube comes with. You have your screwdriver, you have your compression tool, and 1 compression cup, 1 replacement. Then you have your Moyu stand, super cool. We're gonna get rid of this now. Even though I haven't actually inspected it very closely. It's interesting because it does say Cubing Classroom because it's a Mofeng Jiaoshi cube instead of Moyu. So it actually doesn't say Moyu anywhere on this box. Just Cubing Classroom and then the Mofeng Jiaoshi logo. And then it has the WCA World Records here on the side in English or in standard and in Chinese, I'm guessing. Don't speak Chinese or read it, so I'm not gonna venture to guess. So this cube, I believe, is the standard from what it says. So it has no dual compression. It just has a spring and a screw, which I gotta say, because I've opened this already, I really thought, I was like, oh, this is gonna be very low quality, low tier. But it's actually so light. I mean, this thing, let's get the scale out. Yeah, this thing, it's, at first I was like, oh, it's kind of cheap feeling, and you know, it's because it's so light. It is not even 68 grams. I mean, this thing is so paper light, which at first I thought I was gonna not like, but after using it, and also this is one of my only matte plastic cubes I have anymore. Everything is gone UV, but both the matte plastic, the light feel, it just, it really just doesn't disappoint. I've cubed on it actually quite a bit for it being a brand new cube, and I mean, I really haven't even hardly lubed it either. I mean, this is just how nice and it feels kind of out of the box. I put just a couple drops of Mystic in there. That's kind of my, if I have to go with something one and done and simple, that's usually it. But yeah, this cube, I gotta say, let's see how the corner cutting is. That's 45 degrees, that's over 45, that's even further over 45. Let's see our reverse, that's over 45. So yeah, I haven't done a lot of adjustments because there isn't a lot to adjust. I have adjusted the screw just a little bit to get my the settings the way I wanted it, but yeah, there's not much more I can say about this cube because, like I said, it's very simple. It has the primary internals. So if you can see them there, it has a little bit of the dragon scale pattern, but there's no like corner to core magnets. There's no edge repelling magnets. There's just magnets between the pieces, which are weak, but they're there, and they're really as much as I really need. I have most of my cubes that are adjustable turned down almost to the maximum, the least amount of magnetism, because as much as I like to know like benchmarks as far as how many clicks or how many rotations I've done, I don't want it to like hinder my turning. So so I usually go on the like mid to lower end of the magnetism spectrum. But yeah, this is a great cube, especially for $9. I mean, I personally, this was one of my free gifts from the cubicle, so I probably, if I was buying it, would buy the spring compression one because it's $1 more, and it has the dual compression system in here. So I would probably get that cube if I was buying it, but this just feels amazing. I honestly can't say enough about it. Like, I was blown away. I actually, and after I unboxed it for the first time, brought it to my nephew's winter recital because I just couldn't put it down. I felt bad, but I could not put this thing down. It felt so good in my hands. It's really hard because I like smaller, heavier puzzles, but this is one where that light feeling just really feels good. And it's in a lot of contrast to the BallCore UV version. That's, I guess, why I'm pointing it out. So we're gonna set that one there for now. Now we have our RS3M V5, comes with the robot. Let's see right here. BallCore UV, maglev, stickerless, robot cube stand. So again, I opened this, but tried to leave it intact so you guys can get the full experience. You have your Moyu. I love how they put the the picture for the stand that they don't include anymore, but that's fine. That stand was whatever. It was from like the RS3M days, but it does show you how to use the compression tool, which at least that's helpful. And then there's the solving the cube pamphlet, which I don't really care about that. But so let's pull out our super cool robot here. You have your simple one compression cup, your one compression tool, and one screwdriver, like always. Same accessories as always. let's see, we have our little robot guy whose arms and legs move, so you can have him sit or stand. You can have him wave or hold something, I don't know, whatever you feel like, but the front just pops off. So this one is UV coated, as you can see. The internals are teal. It's the BallCore. So these were, again, very lightly lubed. I just threw some Mystic in there. And they do feel like different cubes, though. This one is definitely heavier. It moves a little different. The UV coating does change the way it slides. I mean, this one was a little sandier out of the box, the standard, and this one was a little bit naturally glidier because of the gloss on the plastic. But it was really fast. But I will say, this, as much as I like the standard, I think this is in contention for my new main. And one of the things I can say about it is it feels a lot, I mean, it looks, if you compare the piece shape, it looks kind of like these old RS3M pieces, but when you compare the feel and the look of the gaps and the holes and the air and the space and the feeling of the cube, it feels a lot like a YS3M and a WRM V9 combined. I've heard it said as like a WRM and a Tornado combined, but I'd swear it feels so much like my Worm V9 and my YS3M had a baby, and it was a little cheap $25 UV coated BallCore cube that was, and I mean, this thing is just stellar fast. And I mean, I've gotten to the point, I've used it, like I said, a little bit, where it's getting broken in a tiny bit now. And I mean, the M slices are so fast, you actually have to you have to be careful that you're not over, because I mean, you can easily do a double. I mean, it's lube now, but when it's brand new, you could do a double. Just there, right there. You can do a double flick. There it is again. Off one flick, you could get a double M2 or a M2, which is fine, but you just have to be careful. So you want to lube it down a little bit and break it in, so that way when you go to do an M2 and you might walk your fingers on the pieces, you don't end up double flipping and then doing another flip. Just something, you know, I've noticed both of these cubes actually, as they got broken in, the M slices started to get really, really fast. And I can't blame that on the maglev, because they're not both maglev. I can't blame that on the BallCore or any of that, because they're not, like, nothing is similar on these cubes, but for some reason they both have that same feel where the M slices are really quick. And again, I don't mind it. You just have to kind of lube it and plan for that. But yeah, that's your RS3M V5 BallCore UV. Take a look at this one does have your dual compression, which any other cube they have should have dual compression. It has the blue compression cups in there. I have it on the lowest compression, and I usually have my screw pretty much like level with where the compression cup is. All sides, it's a way for me, besides the feeling, to gauge kind of how deep my screw is. That's the one thing that, you know, people might not like, that Gan cubes only have 2 settings, but the one thing as I can say is at least you know exactly how it's set. Where screws, it's kind of a shot in the dark. I mean, you're gonna get really close, but it's almost never gonna be just exactly perfect. So you know, just food for thought. But yeah, this cube blew me away. I could not believe how nice it was, for the price, for everything, for just in general. I just really didn't expect this to be so good. But yeah, for the $24.95 or whatever it is, I would absolutely recommend this thing. This has been one of the most biggest pleasures out of the holiday season, has been finding a cube I like so much and it being so affordable. That's really cool. I've been, you know, running through Gan cubes and this and that and the other, and it's just nice to find something that's both affordable and really, really user friendly. All right, so that's our RS3M V5s, standard versus BallCore UV. Again, they're so different. They're completely different makeups. That's why I wanted to compare them. But I would say that I like them both equally as much. The BallCore UV is a little bit more competition, I would say, ready. It's just got that really good feel. It turns really nice, but not to say that the standard doesn't. The standard feels so good. It's making me re-fall in love with matte finished cubes, honestly. Yeah, I was very skeptical with how much people hype this cube up, that it would be as good as it is, and I went in with a lot of skepticism on purpose to try and make sure that I wasn't getting too caught up in everyone else's hype, and I wanted to make sure that these cubes were exactly what I was feeling and thinking, and they're really nice. Yeah, so let's move on. Let's go 2x2. I just bought a Gan 251M Leap. I have a Leap already, which I UV coated myself, and that was one of the reasons I wanted this cube. For one, I've coated logos and stickers and what on here, so this will never be able to be used in competition. So I need a cube that I can use and take to competitions. So I bought a second 251 Leap, but I bought the UV coated version. I wanted to see how my UV coat holds up to theirs. So like a lot of these cubes, I've probably already done adjustments on tensions and whatnot because I already had them open. I figured, why waste your guys' time? I can still show you and all that, and you can still, without having to change every single tension on film. So it comes with your extra set of GES nuts, your little tool for changing them out. Let's see. Comes with blue Gan bag. Let's see, looks like that, and a pamphlet. And a little screwdriver. So I don't know. Oh, a little screwdriver is probably for your corner adjustments, corner magnets. This is it. See, I actually couldn't tell. I thought it was the other cube because it was UV coated. So yeah, this thing feels great. I mean, I already have one, so I kind of knew what to expect, but I just wanted to know what the feel out on the outside, how it would compare. But like I said, everything in this was pretty much from the Cubicle's best cubes of 2023 list, and this was one of their options. Any of the Gan 251M Pro or Leaps were pretty much what they recommended. I like the Leap. I like the corner-to-core magnets. I like the extra stability. I know 2x2s don't necessarily need magnets so strong. There's a lot less pieces in the puzzle, so it's a lot easier for it to fall into place. But there's something about it. I like the adjustability. Like I was just saying, how I didn't need adjustable magnets on all these other cubes. So this is one that I actually really like to be able to customize, especially with how quick and efficient your solves need to be on 2x2. You really want it to be, how you want it to feel. But yeah, this cube is great. I love both versions. I really honestly haven't hardly considered to getting a different brand. I've heard a few recommendations for like a budget cube, maybe getting an MGC or something, but I was like, why get something that might not be as good when I know I love this cube? And if I went to competitions, then I'd have a good warm-up and comp cube. So this cube was in the $43-$45 range. It's the higher end, is the highest end. It's got the UV coating and everything, so there's a reason it was at such a high price point. You can get the Pro for, I think, 30 something. But yeah, that's the Gan 251M Leap UV. Let's see. Comes with the nice, everyone calls them the Pokemon case, which is one of my favorites. I like the Gan 13 box. I do like all their boxes they've been doing, but that's got to be one of my favorites. Let's see, here's the lid. All right, and then just for fun, because I do have it, I got this as it's been another free gift for shopping with the Cubicle. Was this Chi puzzle, and it's pretty interesting, and this is why I really like my Gan 251. Is this made me appreciate how well it works. I mean, this does not corner cut at 45. It corner cuts at like 25 or something, like where it wouldn't even hardly be considered corner cutting, I would say. It's not very forgiving. It's got no magnets. It's a little harder. I mean, you can take these off. These carbon fiber are just stickers. If you really didn't like those, you could take them off. Because if you're a beginner solver, it makes it a little harder to identify your sides because you can't see the color in full. But that's kind of why I liked it. When it's moving around really fast, it makes it a lot harder to see what pieces are what and what colors are what, and it presents an extra challenge, actually. And it's actually really fast. It's not a bad cube at all. It's just because there's no magnets, you gotta have a really light turning style, so it doesn't, because it can be a little locky. It doesn't auto align at all, so while you're spamming your turns, you really gotta make sure they're lined up right, which that's what a non-magnetic cube kind of is. So yeah, thank you to the Cubicle for that. Like I said, I've actually already played with it quite a bit. It piqued my interest. I like new puzzles. I like new challenges. Not that 2x2 is a new challenge, but something different, non-magnetic puzzle that doesn't fall into place so easily. Okay, so now we're gonna get into new puzzles, something that I had never even done before. Skewb is a new event for me. So here's your Gan Enhanced Skewb M Magnetic. When you open it, it's kind of cool actually. The box opens like an origami, like kind of the way it folds. Everything folds up into everything folds back up. It's not actually a box, it's kind of a flat piece of cardboard that folds into a box. So you have your standard Gan plastic case there. Let's move all this out of the way. You have the tensioning packet. We have, oh, this is actually a tutorial on how to solve Skewb, which is interesting. I've only ever gotten 3x3 tutorials or 2x2 tutorials. Let's see, oh, there is another Gan bag, and also the set of tensioning nuts for this, which the reason there's only 2 dark blue and 4 blue is because I've already switched out. The light blue are what came installed on it, and the darker blue are a slightly, the light blue are tensions 1 and 3, and the dark blue are tensions 2 and 4. So I personally, this Skewb is extremely fast. It moves really fluid. It's extremely slippy, slidey. The magnets are great when it falls in. I mean, when it is going into place, it stops right where it's supposed to stop. But it easily, I mean, you can easily just pinch 2 pieces together and accidentally turn the thing. So yeah, I put the tightest tensioning in, which to do the tensioning on Skewb, this was why I opened them up before I did it on camera, so I could have something to show you and a little thing to tell you without looking like I don't know what I'm doing. So there's 4 corners on your Skewb that you can take off and change the adjustments. So that's where I took out these 4 light blues and put in dark blues. Just put them on the tightest setting, which was 4. Did that for, there's 4 corners. There's this one, I believe it's the opposite, and then it's the 2 opposite on the bottom. And one little tip too, this is something I did not know. Again, this is a new puzzle for me. So I took off all of the corners at one time to adjust all the adjustments at one time, and then I put a piece in the wrong place or something, and the cube would not solve because I put it back together wrong. So just a little tip, maybe do 1 corner at a time, just so you know everything goes back just the way you meant for it to go back. That way when you first, because again, if you're me and you're first starting to solve Skewb, it's really frustrating if the cube's not put together right and it has no chance of solving. So yeah, there it is. Like I said, I just learned, pretty much the beginner's method, which you make your white face, then you make your yellow face, and you do your last layer algorithm. Pretty simple. Even the beginner's method is pretty quick on Skewb. I see why Skewb is such a quick event. I'm excited to get faster at that because it's something there. I feel like 2x2 with a little practice and whatnot, you could probably get some pretty fast times pretty quickly. Because with 2x2, there's only so many OLLs and PLLs, where with 3x3 and bigger cubes, there's a lot more. So it just increases. I heard someone say once that it's always smart to keep up on 2x2 in certain events like that, because if you get a 4 or 3 move solution at any moment, at any time, you could set a world record. And that's kind of a cool thing to think about. It's kind of a cool prospect to think about, that, you know, if you just give a little practice and a little luck, you might, you know, really, or at the least podium, if not set a record. But that's our Skewb. Let's put that over here. Keep everything moving here. All right, now we're gonna look at Megaminx. So this is the Dayan Megaminx Pro M. The box is actually really cool. I feel like a lot of companies have gone with these new magnetic boxes ever since the Gan 13. It's just very simple, very straightforward, kind of right up my alley. I don't want to do a lot of plastic and origami, whatever, and ripping boxes. And I'm weird like that. I like my boxes to look nice because this is usually where I store them long term. I'll put them back in the boxes so they don't get dusty or whatever. So a nice box is actually really nice. So here we go. So first we get our tensioning instructions. We get an extra set of black pieces if you want to change out any color on your Megaminx, and you get an extra set of springs. And so the only thing I haven't checked yet is if these are more or less tension. I'm gonna guess less. They are extremely flimsy, but I could be wrong. The tension I have adjusted, and if you can see on here, there's these little notches that you just need your fingers to do. So that's why there's no tool to adjust this. And let's take it out. You can see the inside of the box is just nice foam, so it keeps the cube safe. That's why this is a great storage case, since there is no storage case for Megaminx. It's not like it comes with a plastic box like the Gan box or something. So let's see here. Let's see too. It just turns really nice. I mean, I've never even Megaminxed before. I have nothing to compare this to, but I can tell you that this thing feels amazing. It is on the smaller side. Like I said, I like smaller puzzles. I have bigger hands, but I've just always been a fan of smaller, compact puzzles where, I don't know, you don't feel like you're moving so much space and moving so much like piece to get your moves done. But now you can see the tensioning system, and you can see, let's see, there's 1 through 5, and pretty much you just set your arrow. You just turn it until your arrow is set where you want. I have it set on 3, so it's a middle adjustment right now. You can see here's like the corner cutting. Corner cutting on this thing's phenomenal. Oh, like over 45. Let's see, that's just over 45. Sorry, my camera angle's terrible, but yeah, this thing corner cuts great. Gives up very little resistance. There you go. The pieces are really actually easy to put in and out. I'm just I'm slow with this. I'm new to me, like I said, but solving it is great. My initial times are like 5 minutes and under, very first time, so I was very happy with that. I've learned a lot that it's essentially a lot like a 3x3, just kind of with 12 sides instead of 6. You make your pairs and you slot them in. and it's very close to a 3x3. But this is a great puzzle. I could see why it automatically got one of the best cubes of the year. I will say, like, I've noticed on other puzzles, one, I would like to feel what a bigger Megaminx feels like in your hands, because this is one puzzle that I might not mind a bigger puzzle. It's not something that I feel like I benefit a whole lot from having it smaller, where 3x3, like 2x2, for example, same thing. I will actually like a bigger 2x2. I don't like a lot of range between them. I like my 2x2 to be not too much smaller than my 3x3, and same thing going up to 4x4 and 5x5. I like them pretty close. That way they all feel similar in my hands. Where this is one where I don't have anything to compare it to. So I can tell you it feels great. It performs great. I get good times immediately. I mean, I was pretty proud of that because I had never solved it, no tutorials, nothing, and figured it out. So yeah, very nice puzzle. Like I said, very small, smaller than I expected. That would be my biggest just warning to people, is that they say it right on the review of this puzzle that it's small, but I didn't really think it'd be this small, but I still love it. Yeah, would recommend it all day. Haven't used the V2 by Megaminx or by Diane, so I can't really tell you how they compare, but I can tell you that this is a great puzzle. All right, let's move on to, let's see, did I cover? Yeah, I covered everything with that one. Next, I don't know about the springs on that one. It's the only thing I don't really know. The adjustment is very easy. I really like that about it. A lot of nicer cubes, I feel like, are switching to hand adjustable cubes now. So here we have the Moyu Weilong Jinzita puzzle. So this was going off of Stephen Winteringham's recommendation to get the standard Weilong over the maglev. And usually I would be a maglev person, but he seems to be on it with his recommendations and his whatnot, so I figured I would trust him on this one. So this is a real unboxing. Ooh, look at this plastic. I've never bought a new Pyraminx. The only Pyraminx I found in this house when I moved in, and I've always loved how they fit them into these like square or like regular flat bags, but they somehow, that just seems so satisfying. And it's just a flat bag. After all that's done, it's just pretty cool. Wow. So the magnets are very profound. You can feel it's very light. It's very, very light and snappy, which I really like. This is one of those things that I don't solve competitively yet, so I'm just getting into it. And like I said, I figured I'd take the recommendation of someone that knows what they're doing. But man, these pieces feel good. Yeah, it feels great. The magnets are very profound. Oh, and they look to be adjustable. I'm guessing, let's look in the accessory box, which I'm guessing has a screwdriver in it, because it looks like these magnets are adjustable. Oh, and that's the other thing. I do remember him saying that the core is very fragile on this, and that's why it comes with an extra core. So if you want to replace your core with a harder plastic core, you can. Comes with, oh nice, adjustment tools. It comes with a Moyu adjustment tool and a screwdriver. And it comes with I wonder if this was by accident, but I got a second screwdriver that has no screwdriver in it. That's hilarious. I'm glad that you guys got to see that on camera, because like I said, this was one of the puzzles I have not already opened. So that literally just happened. They sent me a screwdriver with no screwdriver, but at least they gave me a real screwdriver too. So this one's to look at. We're gonna set this one on top of the robot as a hat. Here you go. There you go, Mr. Robot. You can wear that as a hat. Oh, Moyu. So I'm gonna put these spare parts back in the box because I actually do like to keep my stuff pretty organized. Everyone always seems to throw all their stuff across the room and whatnot, but I'm fine with just keeping it how it was and putting it back in the box so I know exactly where it is when I need it. But yeah, like, so you can feel that it's a lighter, cheaper plastic for sure. I mean, it's only a $12 puzzle, but my gosh, like the magnets feel great. I mean, just they could definitely be turned down. Like I was saying, I use a pretty low magnet strength, so they could definitely be adjusted here. Let's see if that feels any different. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh, it's like they're like almost not even there anymore. So they must have been turned almost to their maximum. Interesting. Oh, okay, so you can see as you're screwing it, it gets deeper, and then as you get to the strongest setting again, they pop up. So that would make sense since the magnets are closer together, they're stronger. So as they get deeper, they get further away and they get less strength. And then as you get to that tightest setting, the magnet pops back up, and now again, it's really, really profound. I mean, you can see it finish that turn, click. So very nice puzzle. I have nothing really to show off as far as skills or anything. But it feels great. I can't wait to practice more with it. I don't even know hardly any algs on this thing yet. But this, again, one of the reasons I wanted to get into it is I feel like there's not that many algs to learn. I mean, there is, but it's something, it's an attainable goal. And I feel like that with a little bit of learning, I could get pretty fast at this. I do remember Stephen also saying the tips were a little cheap and came off a little easy when you solved. Yeah, I'm a little bit hesitant to take them off just because I'm not trying to break it. But let's see here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make a second video on adjusting and personalizing your Pyraminx because, like I said, I don't feel like breaking this. And like I said, I have fair warning that has kind of cheaper tips. And to be honest, I don't really have any problems with the tensioning. I was just trying to show you guys, so I think I'm gonna leave it where it is. And as I get a little more into it, I'll personalize it as I go. Let's see, let's try and put this back in this bag. Oh, I don't think it goes back as easy as it goes in. Oh, maybe it does. Whatever. Okay. Well, that's a Pyraminx, and it's from Moyu. Let's see. Okay, we're down to the last puzzle. This puzzle is definitely the most expensive. So again, all of this was purchased through the Cubicle. I'm definitely not sponsored. I'm just a new cuber and YouTuber, and I'm just trying to share my experiences with people. I've learned almost everything I know from YouTube and from communicating with other cubers online and whatnot. And so I've really come to respect the online community and the whole cubing community in general because it's really an amazing community. That's one of the reasons I like the comps and whatnot is the community, the people. And it's just amazing how much you learn just by being around other skilled solvers. And I mean, it's like any sport or anything, when you want to learn or get better at something, surround yourself with the best and it will happen. I mean, And so I've only been cubing about a year or so, but my times are, my 3x3 average is down in the 20s, 25 now. Let's see, 2x2, I have a 2.8 average now. It just dropped from 3.5. Let's see, what else? Pyraminx, I'm not going to quote any average. I was waiting to get a real Pyraminx before. This Meffert's Pyraminx was just not doing it. It's fun to play around with, and it got my curiosity peaked here. But oh, and then like 4x4 down to like a minute, maybe a little under, and then 5x5 is like 2 minute 30. So it's all relative, and it's all coming down pretty much as I learn more algs and keep putting in more time. But again, without the help of the online YouTube community, without the help of all the other cubers out there, I wouldn't be as far along as I am. So I just really wanted to thank you guys. I didn't say it earlier, but like and subscribe if you don't mind, please. Means a lot to me. I always will take the love if you guys want to give it. But let's get down to the last puzzle here. Very cool puzzle. This is why it was saved for last. So right. Comes in. So let's get into opening the Gan 12 UI. Super cool box, totally holographic. Has I don't even know what it is. It's like a hologram of some type of like butterfly type thing. It's like rays of light, and really cool box. Let's get her opened here. Ooh, okay. So this was in there, but I couldn't quite figure out how to get it in there without damaging something or whatnot. So, but first of all, the charger with a USB to Type-C cable comes with it. Simple, the charger sits like this. You take the holes on the top center cap and simply set the cube onto the charger like that. It will glow when it's charging. I haven't even done any of this yet, but I've read enough. So we have our cube. This is something I forgot to do was go through, and I didn't weigh every single cube we've done so far. And there's a couple I forgot to show the tensioning systems on, so I'll do that last. But for example, this cube, start with the weight on this cube. So as a smart cube, it's only 69.6 grams. So you gotta imagine there's a computer inside, there's all kinds of little things, there's the gyroscope, all that. That's gonna add weight. So at 69.6 grams, you're looking at like 65, 66 for a regular Gan 12, and I'd have to look up the actual numbers on that, but I'm guessing that's pretty close. I've done UV coating myself. That's another thing that adds a little bit of weight. So yeah, it makes sense that this would weigh a couple more grams than the standard, but it's still so light. So pretty much that was my point, that regardless, even with all the added stuff, it is still a very light cube. Let's see, the RS3M V5 standard was 67.8 or 68 grams, so it's only 1.5 grams lighter, and this has a whole computer inside, so that's pretty impressive actually. So again, you get the charger, the cube. The cube feels amazing. One thing to note is that the computer inside is not 100% sealed. I've watched multiple videos and things on this that you don't want to dump a bunch of water-based lube in here, because that will seep in and corrupt the computer inside. So if you want it to keep working, this is why I was a little bit bummed when the box was smashed, just because I know this is kind of a fragile cube. It does have a computer inside. There's just a lot of things that could go wrong if it was mishandled. So that's one reason that I actually went and got the PowerP Pod also, because I was going to say I was surprised it didn't come with a case like every other Gan cube, but I'm assuming that's because they make the PowerP Pod, which is a case, and they would probably prefer you use that. But let's keep going with this unboxing. So the accessory box, we'll look at what comes in here. And this is one of my favorite things, is for once, I've bought quite a few Gan puzzles, and for once you get a different bag. You get an actual black bag, bigger logo, different fabric. Yeah, I like everything about that. Just different. Gives a special Gan Smart Cube pamphlet. Has your Cuber's Home or Cuber Station, Cuber Station tutorial card, the Gan FreePlay, and then like just a regular cube solving tutorial, and then they have what everyone calls the AirPod case, but really this is just your extra corner magnets and adjustment tool. And like most Gan things, I don't even want to open it because there's a chance that the magnets could fly everywhere, and it's just like that with the GES for the 2x2 or their earlier 3x3s. You go to open that saucer thing, and all the magnets would go flying, or all the GES would go flying out. But I've already swapped. So this came with hexagonal corner to core magnets, and I swapped them for the triangular ones. So with Gan, like I was talking about before, on the Skewb, 1 and 3 are one GES set, and 2 and 4 are the other GES set. So they kind of have an every other setting. Instead of just doing the light blue being 1 and 2 and the dark blue being 3 and 4, they kind of did this every other number thing, and it goes the same way with the corner to core magnets on this. So 1, 3, and 5, like the intensities 1, 3, and 5 are on the triangular, I believe, and 2, 4, and 6 are on the hexagonal. So I usually put in the stronger magnets just because then I can turn them down, and then I can have a little bit of adjustability with it. So if I want to turn them up, I can go up. If I want to go down more, I can go down. But usually put the more intense magnets in and then turn them down to the middle setting. And that usually seems to give me kind of somewhere right in the middle that gives me a little room to play. I've heard other people say this too about adjustabilities on even the tensions and center travels and whatnot. People like to leave, maybe on the second tightest setting or the second most compressed, or however you want to put it. That way they know they can always go one tighter if they need, or they can always go looser. But it's always nice to know that you have some room to adjust and to play around. And so that's kind of the philosophy I follow there. And with this, you take your Trident. I guess I should take it out actually. But you take your little Trident adjustment tool. It came with your AirPods. And again, this thing, you take your tripod and the 3 Trident pieces adjust your tension, and if you flip it and use this piece, it adjusts your center travel or compression. And there is 3 numbers. Goes 1, 2, 3 on the compression, and I believe it's 1 through 5 or 1 through 6 on the tension. And I have it on, looks like I have it on the loosest compression but the tightest tension. And again, that gives me some room to kind of have some maneuverability there. If I want to go tighter still, I can always compress the cube more. And I think it's actually the second tightest tension I have it on. Same thing with the tension. If I want to go tighter, I can always go a little tighter, but I can always go looser. It gives me a lot of room for kind of playing around with it instead of feeling like I'm stuck. And that's about, like, you can call that about as much adjustability as I want on a cube. Like with the Gan 14, it just sounds like a nightmare having 1,300 possible adjustments. I mean, numerous people have done videos on it, on how actually taking the time to go through all those settings would be just ridiculous. And most of the cubes, like for example the RS3 MV5, both the standard and the BallCore UV are beautiful out of the box. They're so great, and you don't have to adjust 1,300 settings to get them to where they're usable. So you could look at that as an upside too. Some people like adjustability because then they can really customize it. Some people just like that glass slipper right out of the box. So it really depends. So the last thing I wanted to show off on the actual cube is, I don't have an actual separate camera from my phone. I'm just using my phone right now. so I can't show you what the Cube Station app looks like while you're using the cube, which is really the coolest thing. It turns this cube into a video game. Essentially, it turns it into this, I mean, there's time trials, there's practicing, there's tutorials, there's CFOP and RU, there's all different types of styles and strategies, and it shows you how to go through all of them, and it takes you through tutorials for all of them, and it's a very good teaching tool. But it also has a competition setting where you can go one-to-one with people, you can race friends, you can, you know, do all kinds of things, but it turns it into a Street Fighter versus type setting where it's this person versus this person, go! And it's pretty intense, and it's gets your adrenaline pumping, and it has that competition feeling. And it's something that it truly, like, I'm not as big of a gamer as some of my other friends, but this is a thing where I feel like I'm sitting and playing a video game for hours when I'm sitting there and I'm cubing, I'm learning, I'm practicing. So I can't do anything but say good things about it. I've heard a few people say that the app is a little bit finicky, which out of the whole time I've had this, I think the app has been down once, and like 20 minutes later it was back up. So I really wouldn't call that a big problem, especially when Moyu's is all in Chinese, and there's just no other company has had really good success. Gan has other smart cubes, I will say, but you know, the Gan I carry or Gan i3 or any of those just don't compare to a Gan 12 that's been turned into a smart cube. And there are some other differences, and one of them being like the battery. Those batteries, they last like a couple hundred hours or whatever. They last a long time, but they have to be replaced. Where this battery lasts like 30 to 50 hours. I forget what the number is, but once you're done, you just set it on the charger, recharge it, and go again. So it kind of depends what you're into. If you just want to keep cubing forever and never have to charge, then you get the iCarry. If you want, you know, you don't mind doing the charging, or that's where once I open the PowerP Pod, I think it'll make a little more sense. Last thing I want to show you is, so as soon as you move the layers, as I hope you can see, the entire cube starts to light and blink because it's trying to pair to my phone. And my phone, as soon as you open the Cuber Station app, it Bluetooth syncs immediately. The cube is connected to the app, and you're ready to go. I mean, there's no lag, there's no wasted time. I mean, it is quick. That is one of the most beautiful things about this, and that's one of the reasons I got this off everyone's recommendation, is they said this was the most user-friendly and the nicest. Like I said, any Gan one has been user-friendly, but that's the nicest Gan one. So here's the PowerP Pod. This is something that I haven't even got to use yet or haven't tried out, but if anything wants to be compared to a set of AirPods, I would say it would be this, because like your AirPod container or case, you can take your AirPods out and put them back in your case, and it has holds like 6 charges or something like that before you have to actually plug it back into a physical charger. Well, this does the same thing. So instead of having to put my cube on the charger when it dies or whatever and then wait, every time I put my cube back in its case, it can go onto the charger, because this pod holds 5 to 6 charges, I believe, just like AirPods. So every time you put your cube away, it's getting charged. Every time you pull it out, it's charged, ready to go. This is something that for the $20 or whatever it is, I couldn't do anything but recommend it. I feel like I said, there's nothing wrong with the charger, but the PowerP Pod is really cool. And again, I didn't like that it didn't come with a case, being as expensive and fragile as that cube is. I just felt like a case was proper, and a case that's a charger. This is truly, again, this is your AirPods if you want to go that route. But so that's the Gan 12 UI. Like I said, it's amazing. It's a Gan 12 essentially. It's just got a little computer inside. I mean, like I said, the weights aren't even. It's still, the fact that they kept it under 70 grams is amazing. So yeah, you really can't do anything but love that cube. Let's see. Like I said, one thing I want to go over real quick is I forgot to give you some of the weights on these cubes, and I feel like that's very relevant. So let's just go down the line real quick. I believe I did these ones already, but I'm just going to do them all. So the RS3M V5 standard is 67.8 grams. So I want to compare certain cubes especially. So now 67.8. So now let's look at the RS3M V5 BallCore UV. 77.5. So it's almost exactly 10 grams heavier, which is a lot. I mean, 10 grams, I mean, now I know why the cubes feel so different. I mean, the size is pretty much the same. The UV, sometimes I feel like I can see just a hair on the larger side because of the UV coating has probably added a little extra layer. But as far as everything else goes, it's essentially the BallCore, the corner-to-core magnets, the UV coating, all of that has added about 10 grams. So, just all this is on the websites when they give you the specs for the cubes. But it's something that people might overlook because they could see, oh, it's the same cube, but that one's nicer, I'm going to get that one. And so just remember, it is nicer and more expensive and whatnot, but it's also heavier. So that's just one little, oh, and the compression for these, like this one is a spring only and a screw. That's what the standard is, no dual compression. And this one has the blue dual compression. And I keep this, just like I was talking about before, on the lowest compression, so 0 compression. And then I keep my screws, I mentioned that earlier, to the level of the compression cup. That way I know they're even. But again, that gives me the ability to compress the cube further really easily. I don't even have to necessarily tighten it. I can just use the compression to compress the cube without even needing a tool or anything. So that's really nice. So that's the RS3 MV5. Like I said, I'm just going to rush through these, do all the weights. Let's see, what else do we have here? Let's do our Skewb. This is kind of a random one because I have nothing really to compare this to. But our Skewb is 82.2 grams. So really, that's very close to a 3x3. And considering this is a 3x3 mod, that makes a whole lot of sense. Because, I mean, like my YS3M is over 80 grams. I mean, there's a lot of new 3x3s that are not in the $60, $70 or 70, gram range. 80 grams is not unreasonable at all. A lot of people might actually prefer that. It's really hard to say, but that's why I wanted to give you guys all the information so you can kind of go out there and make that judgment call for yourself. So let's do the 2x2, because this is another one, like I was saying, I like a little bit larger 2x2 and a little bit smaller 3x3, and a little bit smaller 4x4 and 5x5, because it keeps them all around the same size. So 2x2, 58.6 grams. So this is not, maybe, this is only 10 grams less than the RS3 MV5, and like most cubes, like my Gan cubes and stuff, are most in their 70s, the 75 or so gram range. So that's not all that light. But again, I like that. I like to have a little bit of weight and a little bit of size to my 2x2, because then I don't feel like I'm trying to turn this tiny little miniature puzzle. All right, the Pyraminx. I have to take it out of this bag that I so delightfully put back in. So 75.5. So again, this is technically a 3x3. It is a 3x3 puzzle. So again, in the 70s, that's pretty reasonable and pretty standard, I would say. That keeps, again, it keeps all your puzzles feeling relatively similar too. So when you go from maybe solving Pyraminx to solving 3x3 to solving 2x2, if you're doing those all back to back to back in competition, this is my own opinion, but I think that having some continuity in size and weight and all that will help you overall in that muscle memory and your motor skills. Let's see, what do we have left? We have the Megaminx. Let's see what the weight is on that. So pretty much all the 3x3s were relatively light. The UV RS3 MV5 was a little bit on the heavy side. But everything else has been light. Let's see what the Megaminx is. 99.8. So this just shows how small this is, because if it comes in under 100 grams and it's a 12-sided puzzle, I mean, this literally has twice the sides that a 3x3 has, but it's still only under 100 grams, 99. So say, again, my YS3M comes in at 83. I'm still only like 15 more grams, 16 more grams. So really on the light side. I mean, you can see it's almost like a size of a baseball. I really want to reiterate how kind of small this thing is. So if anyone does have big hands or have a problem with small puzzles, I don't want to talk to them into buying something that they wouldn't work for them. But if you're okay with smaller puzzles, this thing feels great. Um, but yeah, I think that's it. I just wanted to make sure I went through all of the little things that I might have skipped over. This was the most cubes I've ever unboxed in one sitting, so I wanted to make sure I gave you guys all the info. The last thing I think I didn't go over with this, but was how to tension your 2x2. And so your little, there's a trident here. This is what I was talking about, the other GAN thing that you just never want to open up because those little pieces could go flying everywhere. But in the center, come on, in the center of all of your GES is this little trident tool. And just like on any other one, this one is just different because there's no center capture move because you don't have centers. A 2x2 is literally all corners. So you just want to spread your pieces open, put your trident into the slots and simply just push down and turn. And one turn is going to take it to the other setting because there's a 0.8 and a 0.6 and a 0. So if you turn it once and it doesn't pop off, turn it one more time and it'll come off. If you're just trying to change the tension, then you don't want it to come off. But yeah, that's essentially it. There's only 3 settings. There's a 0.6, a 0.8, and a 0. And the 0 is how you remove it, and the other 2 are 0.6 is tighter, 0.8 is looser, and every color has the same numbers. So I have essentially taken the tightest color, clear, put it in each side, but then put it on the looser of the 2 settings. So just like most of my cubes, I'll put it the more intense set of tensioning or magnets in, but then turn it down slightly so I have a little bit of room to play with. And it feels great. I put a little bit of angstrom gravitas because this cube is so fast and has so little friction points where it's actually rubbing, and again, there's no centers or edges, or there's far few less pieces, so it just seems to glide a lot better. So I put some really thick lube. The angstrom gravitas reminds me of Vaseline, the look of it. And then their Dignitas reminds me of Elmer's glue. But both of them are great lubes. I'm not talking bad about them at all. They're phenomenal. But they're definitely a little bit on the heavier side, especially the Gravitas. But that has made this feel perfect. Like for a cube that you just seem to not be able to slow down at all, or not be able to get to feel cushy and nice like you want, that's the lube I would recommend. I mean, I went ham, I went heavy with it, and it's gonna start seeping into the core as time goes on too, and that'll contribute to that soft, cushy feel. Because right now it's just so fast and so that there's just a little bit of a little bit of feel to be desired still, but that's about it. But yeah, I think, let's see. We went over adjusting Megaminx. We went over, I think that's it, y'all. Yeah, happy holidays, everyone. I hope everyone is safe and has a great whatever you're celebrating. Yeah, I just hope everyone does well, and I just want to put it out there too that everything I have learned has been from people online, other YouTubers, other cubers at competitions, and so I just really want to put one more thank you out to all the people in the community out there, because I would never have learned all the things I've learned without the people out there and without you guys. So as always, I ask you to like and subscribe, and actually please comment. I love comments. I feel like I don't get a lot of them, and I don't know why yet, but maybe it's just because I'm a very small, minuscule dust on a giant planet. But yeah, if you guys watch this and enjoyed it at all, or have any comments, even have criticism, I don't care. I'll take it all. But I always ask that if you have a cube that you love, especially something that's not brand new, even if it is brand new, but especially an older cube, something that maybe I'm missing out on because I'm a newer cuber, let me know in the comments. I would love to know. I love finding new puzzles. I love solving new puzzles. I love, tinkering. I love personalizing and adjusting. And some like I've been looking into the WRM 2021 lately, because you can add a magnetic core. You can add that one had adjustable magnets. There's the maglev version. There's just all kinds of new features, and now you can pretty much make that cube into having all the tech that new cubes have. So things like that, like let me know if you have a favorite cube that I might not even know exists, but you maybe have modded it out and made it perfect, and it's your favorite cube, and you just wish everyone else knew about it, or maybe you don't want anyone else to know about it, and I respect that too. But yeah, if you guys have something to share, please let me know, because not only will I comment and I will make a video about it and I'll look into it, but I always just appreciate the knowledge. I'm not joking. I'm a big nerd. I love to learn. And so this has been one of the best years lately, just getting to learn so much, like every day, getting to learn new algs, getting to learn new tricks, new finger tricks, new everything. I've said it on multiple videos, but I don't feel like there's going to be many more years in cubing like this, between the advancements in technology, the advancements in times, in solving times. I mean, we've dropped records, the personal records and the world records and the times and the averages have dropped so drastically that how many more years can they go on dropping that much before what are people going to solve in like 0.2 of a second? I mean, it's like you can only drop that exponentially for so long, and then it's going to have to plateau slightly. So I found that this was a very interesting year to start cubing. Not only has there been an overwhelming amount of cubes, but an overwhelming amount of new records, new this, new that. So it's just been a really interesting time. And like I said, I will really thank you guys all for welcoming me into this. And yeah, I just am crazy excited to see what the next year has for us. And oh, there's Ninja. She said, I think we're done. But yeah, everybody have a happy holidays, and I wish you the best. And again, if you have any questions, anything, leave them in the comments, and please leave me your favorite cube and why. Don't care what kind of cube it is, I'm doing them all now, so let me know. Peace, everybody. Much love. Cubing Kitty. That should be my new name. All right, get set up on the timer. So, real quick, I was doing my unboxing video and I couldn't figure out the tips right away, so I just kind of gave up because I didn't want to break my cube just to make a video. But I did actually, right after I finished, I figured it out. It's really easy. I just didn't want to be too rough on a new puzzle. But essentially, you just find. So this is taking the tips and adjusting your tension on a Pyraminx, and this is the Moyu Weilong standard. So you just find kind of where the primary plastic meets the color, and just get your fingernail up underneath there, or a like flathead screwdriver, whatever you can get under there, and it just pops off. And then now you have your screw, so you can adjust your tensions and get everything exactly how you want. But it's really basic, and I can see why these could pop off. Like if you hit your puzzle down hard when you finish or whatever, I could see them popping off. But I also think I might have gotten my brands confused. I think it was the Yushin Little Magic that had that problem, not this one. I think this one just had a kind of flimsy core, but that's why they give you the extra core in the box, in the accessory box. So, but yeah, it's the same thing with every side. I haven't taken any others off yet, but I guess let's give it a shot. There we go. Yeah, once you get your fingernail up underneath there, it starts to come pretty easily. It's just, I would advise, don't force it by any means. Just keep trying to gently coax it off so you don't just rip, because I mean, if you see, this is a pretty thin piece of plastic here, so I could see how it would break or whatnot, because I have heard people snap their whatever brand Pyraminx down, that the tips can pop off, snap off, whatever. So yeah, I would err on the side of caution, but essentially they literally just pop straight on and off, and then your screw is underneath for your tension, and that's about it. So thanks. There's a little extra piece of info for you. Hopefully that helped. Peace.